Hi, welcome to this episode of Herald Cafe. Today we've got an inspiring person, Mr. Prasun Sonwalkar. He's inspiring because he proved us that impossible is nothing, because you have controlled diabetes through your endurance and physical activities. Congratulations for your feat.
Oh, thank you, Nilankur. Thank you, thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. Prasun, tell me, Goa is infamous for diabetic people, and you are one person who have not beat the diabetes but controlling the diabetes through your running, especially running. How did that inspiration come about, or the idea that running can help you get rid of diabetes?
It's a slightly a long story because I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes in 2012 when I was in Bristol, and I didn't take it seriously for some years because I didn't feel any different. It came about, I think it was in June 2016 when my doctor gave me the real jolt. My HbA1c was turned out to be very high. And she used a couple of words that kind of brought me down to earth. She said, if you continue like this, I'll have to put you on insulin. Now I'm basically scared of the needle, so I just didn't want that. The sheer idea of putting injecting myself with insulin every day, that was kind of a red flag. I mean, mind you, you can have a very normal life on insulin, which is fine. Many people do it. But to me, somehow it came to my mind. I thought that I must make an effort to not go down that route. And I started walking briskly first.
Is the doctor's advice that?
No, there was no doctor's advice on that. But then I thought, because I read about diabetes here and there and on the net and elsewhere, and the main thing to deal with it is to reduce your weight.
Okay.
So I was never a runner. I was never. I hardly walked for an hour. Never in my life. I used to play table tennis when I was in school. Lots of it. But then I thought I must do something about this. I can't just
take it lying down.
I can't take it lying down. I can't keep popping pills. And because popping, tablets have their own side effects, after effects. So might as well try to deal with it on its own. So that same day when I met my doctor and I started walking briskly, and then slowly I started seeing minor gains in terms of weight.
Okay.
After coming back from the walk, and slowly I also reduced my food intake. In a way. And as I saw the progress, minor gains when crept up and up, then I said I must keep on doing this. Then one day I thought, because I used to come back home drenched in sweat, and it really made a huge difference. Not only in terms of physique but also in the mind. I felt very, very good. And then one day I thought might as well try a short jog. And it slowly went up from there, from the slow jog to 5 minutes in the walking hour to say 10 minutes. Then slowly it came a point, and then there came a point when I was doing nearly 9 kilometers in 1 hour, and running slowly.
Okay.
Now mind you, I was not running fast. I still don't run fast. You don't need to run fast, but you do need to run, and it makes a huge amount of difference. So I kept on running daily, and I've now run 10 full marathons in
You did?
Yes.
From 2016 onwards?
My first marathon was in 2018.
Okay.
So 2018 onwards, I've been doing roughly 2 marathons in a year, the full marathons.
That is 42 kilometers.
42 kilometers, which is serious pain. It's a big effort, but it's really rewarding. It's very fulfilling. And I'm still registered now for this year in September. I'm doing one in London. So that has what this exercise, this kind of running routine did to my diabetes was that HbA1c completely plummeted. It came down.
Sorry, please tell me about HbA1c. I do not know.
No, HbA1c is a reading of how your sugar has been controlled for the last 3 months.
Okay.
It is done through the blood test, normal, and that reading gives you an idea how high has been your sugar or low over the last 3 months.
Okay.
So mine was at one point was 10.9, which is like on the roof, like. So it came down to normal level through this routine of running.
Are you entirely giving the impetus on running, or your dietary changes also?
No, diet. Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, it was not only because of running, but running also kind of forced me to think about the quantity and the quality of food that I have been having.
Okay.
And one of the main lessons I learned was that our body does not need the quantity of food that we normally consume, particularly in India. I mean, like they say that it's time for lunch, so we must have lunch. So even if you're not hungry, you go and have your lunch. So I tried to reach a minimum level of food intake slowly, not immediately, slowly over weeks, I would say. And now I come to a level of food consumption which is basically means a small breakfast, no lunch, and an early dinner around 6 o'clock of say basically mainly khichdi. So that is just about enough to not only manage the diabetes but also do all my running and everything. And we really don't need the amount of food we eat. So the combination of this food, changes in the food and the running, that has completely changed my. The last 4 years now, I'm off medication.
Okay.
I was on I think 1000 mg of metformin, and there was also one more diabetes pill, and there was also one more for BP or something. They've all gone away.
Nice. And what are the kind of research you have been doing to keep yourself healthy for the running? I remember you were speaking about reading Murakami's book, like those kind of stuff. Can you tell us more about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that diabetes, in a way, I'm a bit grateful to diabetes. Diabetes
is a whole new world.
Yeah, diabetes is actually bad news. It has a serious kind of consequences. But because of this, I was introduced to this new world of running, which is huge. It is a huge subculture across the world. It has its own literature, own code words. The marathon, the personal best, and all VO2 max, and all kinds of words are used. It has introduced me to a world which I was not aware of, and it is absolutely fantastic. And every day I do about 10 to 15 kilometers. Now, you mentioned Murakami's wonderful book. I think it's called What I Mean about running. There's one very beautiful line in that book. It says that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Wow.
It's a very profound line. So we all get pain. I mean, because the body is not used to running. So when you start on this routine, there is a huge amount of pain in the initial days. So you need to manage that.
But those pain you didn't think is suffering. You thought in a positive way that I'm going to take that.
Absolutely. You need to make friends with pain. You need to make friends with pain, because after some time, the pain goes away. The initial stage is difficult. Many people give up.
Yes.
In the first 2 or 3 weeks. I've got some friends in London who started, using my example. They started running and all. They were doing very well, but then they couldn't take the pain. Initial pain. I kept saying to them that it will go away. But pain is a tough journey. It is not easy in the initial stages. But the pain definitely goes away. So today, I mean, when I run today, it's completely pain free. But the key thing, if anybody wants to do this, is you need to be consistent.
Okay.
You should not give up just because there is some pain in the calves or legs or whatever. And it is immensely rewarding. Not only in terms of physically but also mentally. The state of your mind when you start your run, daily run, and when you finish, say about 10-15 kilometers, there's a huge difference. You feel so refreshed.
I think consistency is a mantra to every endeavor, to do it. So let us go back. Let us go back to your school days in Raibandar and Dempe College.
Yeah.
How was that Goa when you left? Now you're based in London.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about
No,
that.
Goa that was very different, of course. I mean, my father we came here in the early 60s. My father was a music producer in All India Radio. So soon after liberation, I think he was one of the first Indian employees posted here,
Okay.
All India Radio, Antino. And initially we lived in Chimban, then in Raibandar. I went to this Ajuda convent in Raibandar until I think the 4th standard. And I did 1 year in Lyceum. There used to be a Lyceum Portuguese era school, which used to be Goa bench of the Bombay High Court.
Yes.
Upstairs in Antino. That was I did class 5 there. Then class 6 onwards I was in People's High School. So which was absolutely wonderful, mainly because of our teachers. We had absolutely great teachers: Laura Pinto, Amolkar sir, Gode sir, Sonwalkar sir. Absolutely fantastic teachers. I think I owe I say to my friends in London that I am made in Goa.
Then how did the motivation to become a journalist and academic came up about?
No, I mean, there was the thought of becoming a journalist had never crossed my mind. It just happened by accident. My older brother was studying in Nagpur. I think it was in early 80 or 81. And we met a friend from Goa who was my father's friend. He was working in a company paper here. And then I had just finished my 12th and I was into my second year of BSc. Then at that time, I didn't know what I was going to do in my life.
Yes.
And then he said, why don't you, apply for the trainee sub-editorship of a local paper. So I applied for that and I became a trainee sub-editor. I think the salary was 250 rupees, 82 December I think it was. And things went on from there. After that I joined Free Press Journal in Indore. We launched the paper. Then went to Jaipur in the Rajasthan Patrika, English edition.
Okay.
And after that, I joined the Times of India, which where I spent most of my career.
Okay.
Based in Patna, then Northeast India, then Delhi for 10 years. And since '99, I've been in the UK. I went there first on a fellowship to Cambridge. Then I did a PhD on a Commonwealth scholarship.
Okay.
And then I taught in Bristol University.
Okay. You are still doing it?
No.
Okay.
I'm no longer teaching.
Okay.
And around 2013, I think, Hindustan Times gave me a very good offer, so I joined them in London. So until a year ago, until 2 years ago, I was the editor for UK and Europe.
Okay.
For Hindustan Times.
Yes.
So I'm now trying to come back to Goa.
Nice. So that now that you are continuing your running, like wherever you go, are you still running in Goa now? And are you seeing a lot of runners here in the road? What is your perspective?
Yeah, I've been trying to run, but I have not been able to run daily the way I'm able to do in London.
Why so?
It's partly because of I'm used to running in the afternoon, around 3 or 4 o'clock. So that time here is very humid and very hot. So that I found it difficult in the first 3-4 days. Then I shifted to morning runs. That is slightly better. But then I found I've been running from the Church Square up to the Betim Ferry Point, to Kampal, to Miramar, and on the Donapola Road. So trying to do about 10-12 kilometers. But I found in various places it's not very safe. I mean,
safe for the traffic or
no, in terms of the
road surface,
the roads, the pavement surface.
Okay.
The tiles have been laid in such a haphazard manner. Sometimes you could just stumble and fall if you're not careful. And in some places there are hanging electricity wires. You can
maybe live.
Yeah. So then that was a bit of an issue. But I'm still been able to manage to do some running. Not as much as I would have liked to. But one good thing is that I'm seeing quite a few runners now in Penjim.
I think a lot of people uses Pede Stadium and Samaprasad. They've got athletic tracks. They keep on running in circles. They do that. I've seen them on.
Running on the track can be a bit boring after some time. But if you're doing about 10-15 kilometers, you need a kind of a long stretch.
Okay. Okay.
And ideally along the river would be great. So I try and do this particular stretch. But maybe I'll look up other areas also.
Yes,
while
yes. I'm sure there will be 2-3 running clubs also here.
Sure.
Because their cycling has come up pretty big.
Yes,
here.
yes. Actually, it's another huge subculture across the world, not just here.
Now it's booming in Goa.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people are cycling. So I think we're coming to an end of this conversation, and I would like to know that you have managed to control diabetes. You know, any advice to people who? My father was a diabetic. He passed away, you know, because it was extreme diabetic. You know, I was just telling my mother, look at this person. You know, if my father would have known about it, you know. So that way, you know, like kind of I'm not asking for like a advice or something, like how people can inculcate those habits to keep themselves healthy. Yeah.
No, it is a very useful kind of thing to do. I mean, there is a figure that is often bandied about 10,000 steps.
Yes,
you know, many people talk about it.
Yes,
and many people are happy about it. But as far as what I have realized is that those 10,000 steps is better than being on the sofa. Slightly better than being on the sofa. Fine. But if you want to have a real impact on your physique, those 10,000 steps should be of high intensity. Okay. Not casual walking. Casual walking will not have as much impact. You need to reach the level of heavy sweating. Whatever you do. Not sweating because of the atmosphere. Sweat should come from inside. That sweating is the kind of benchmark.
Okay.
No, you should forget about the number of figures or steps or whatever. If you're sweating profusely, whatever you do, whether it's cycling or walking, or running, whatever, that is the benchmark, and that will make a huge difference to your physique and also your mental health. But you also need to make it part of your everyday life. It is not that once in a day, once in a week I have just run for some time, walk and all, it's done. No. It should be as much part of your daily life as having your meal or having a shower or So if you need to alter your other things, fine. But because health is the most important thing.
Yes.
If you don't have the proper health, you can't do anything else. So I mean, it has to be completely embedded in your daily life.
And along with it, what about the food habits? Are you completely off sugar?
I'm completely off sugar. I don't.
Jaggery.
Jaggery sometimes I do have.
Okay.
But I'm completely off sugar.
Okay.
I mean, I'm also completely off milk.
Okay.
Yeah, all milk products.
Okay.
And I don't buy oil.
Then how do you fry things?
I don't fry things.
I bake.
I just have khichdi mainly.
Okay.
Khichdi is my main, and when I'm bored of my own cooking, which is very often, I go out and have a dal and roti or whatever. I've been a lifelong veg, so it makes it slightly easy for me. But I don't have. I've completely changed my relationship with food.
Okay.
And I only eat when I'm hungry, not because it's time to eat or something. And it has completely changed my physics. So I have there is a measure in running called VO2 max. It is kind of they give you the amount of oxygen the body can consume while exercise. There's a figure. It's a kind of indicator of fitness. So my figure has gone up to 44, which is supposed to be at the athlete level.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. I was myself very surprised. It reached that level. But if you combine the food changes and the physical exercise, whether it's running or whatever, makes a huge difference. Actually, you don't need to run. You don't need to run. All you need to do is to really brisk walk.
Okay.
To the level of sweating, serious sweating. If you do that daily and changes in diet, that's it.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Prasun. It's like inspiring to hear these things. I hope our audience can also imbibe in their lifestyle a little bit of at least brisk walking or like reducing the intake of fried foods and stuff, like that. All the best for your coming marathon in September, and keep your glowing self.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nilankur.
Thank you. We'll see you again next week.